What's bad, YouTube? And welcome to the house. The price of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going up once again. I don't think this is actually out of greed on Konami's part, the most unsponsorable by Konami channel actually says, but what I do think is very greedy is this mix of upped prices along with the terrible ratios ever since Eternity Code. Eternity Code, banger of a set. So was Rice, but I warned, whenever we got to worse sets, we would feel those ratios oh so badly. Silly John, the rares missing don't matter that much. Yeah, they do. Half of the set is hollow, but the big thing was no more short prints in core sets meant that every secret rare would almost be short print ratioed when they upped it to 10 secret rares. You no longer have a chance at a playset of every secret in a set. In fact, you're more likely to see 2 of a secret than 3 because the average pull rate is 2.4. So with this upped price at MSRP, we were never paying MSRP on the channel, code WhatsGood5 for 5% off and to support the channel at many of these lovely razor thin margins, really competitive shops. Let's actually look at this and how bad it is. It is now retail $1,293 per case, but per box that an average consumer might actually go after at $449 per pack at 24 packs. That is $107.76 per box. Those really eye-bulging numbers are catching up with the times versus other card games, and I get that it's due to supply chain issues, right? Like card stock being not as able to be acquired, which is causing a lot of these quality control issues on top of it, and now we're paying more for it. Easy fixes here, Konami. Put a secret in every other booster box as a bonus. 3 secrets per every 6 boxes would actually make it mathematically a chance at a playset at every secret within your set, because these new pull ratios, they're BS, and you're doing it to every product. It's why the collector rare sets are failing as a whole versus those all foil side sets we used to have, and they're just bombing, and they're bad for vendors. They're on their shelves. You know it, I know it, and the consumers also know it, because we'll get into how bad the ratios are for a certain card. But when we look at how things are choked out versus also a set that vendors then order as much of due to upped prices and trying to gamble versus which products they should get for their consumers, Dimension Force was definitely under ordered, and you probably saw that on your back end versus other sets. Power of the Elements is looming, Megaton's orders were open, and with this box, there is not a single card right now. It is Thursday afternoon that has 100 listers total. The closest is 97 with Legal Knight and Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph. We are not to triple digit listers on anything. That's bizarre. When we're looking at this, you have everybody in office, everybody's open, that everybody's able to list that wants to list, and we're not to triple digits on anything on the front page. And we're on buyout after buyout after buyout, because the supply isn't there to replenish necessarily. I did call Therion Berea. I did not call Regulus. I thought Regulus was bloated. Still an insane card. I did call Psychic and Punisher, which is now also bought out. Libromancer Fire had a buyout early, and so did Die Coliseum. And now Visa Starfrost Ultra Rare. Remember, this is a sneak peek promo, not in the set. Looks really great as Ultra. It is bought out too, but that has nothing to do with pull rates. So let's actually back around over to looking at this. Libromancer Fire, less listings than Geek Boy, which previously existed, but Geek Boy's also getting focused. Not the greatest comparison. A really good comparison for ratios, prices, etc. I have never in my life seen a duelist pack with a card as successful as Baroness Stifler, which is at $140, and seen people go, yeah, I'm not opening that because it's a scam pretty much to try to pull this due to short printing / ratios. This is a legendary duelist by name, which we've broken down many times, is basically just a duelist pack once again, but uses the legendary duelist marketing because we're down to 3 duelists instead of 5, and these were 3 fan favorite archetypes. Lyralust did get hit by a ban list. Tons of potential in here between the Speedroids, and I've seen a lot of the rogue decks on Master Duel playing Sage de Fleur. But when we look through a $140 card in a $40 booster box, that's an anomaly. That just doesn't happen. I kind of like the sealed at this point, but I did before, and people just know they don't want to chase after this in the box. But yeah, Psychic and Punisher, I was on this card for a while. I really like it, and let's actually talk ratios more. Doom and gloom before we get to the cards of market to watch. With this change, I think that it's bad for vendors. I think that it's bad for consumers. People saying, yeah, I'll just buy the single. But if on the back end, let's go ahead and see how much more vendors are actually paying on this. Like, okay, so 49 cents per the beginning of the year, extra per booster pack, right? And there's 24 in a box, and then you get to a case. And let's say the vendors are paying around 60% from the distro. $84.67 per case, about up per case that the vendors are paying. Now, for pre-sellers, chopping it up, estimated value pulled, that means cards go up. They'll try to be competitive on chase cards to get you to their site and try to get you bloated mid-section pre-sales. You deal hunt during pre-sales, but that means singles during that period go up. Means that also when listing day comes, that the prices were up from before that, and the entire market stays more bloated, partially due to the costs that they're paying, but also because they have to be more careful evaluating due to that. It's bad for everybody. Bad for the singles buyers, bad for the people going for the product, and something inside needs to change versus that. That's my rant, Konami. Easy fixes would be ultimate rares from the OCG style back in core sets, keep the classic for OTS packs, or an extra secret rare every other booster box. But I'm screaming into the void there probably. Let's go ahead and get into the cards of market to watch after informing you, the consumer, basically what's happening with Yu-Gi-Oh! Product and why prices will probably hike even worse in the future. Splite has plenty of buyouts, and people are after Crumble logos a little. There's only 36 copies of the secret. Pretty neat tech that is a rank 2 that you might remember from the Froggy days. 2 or more level 2 monsters generically in the 2 range, and it did come also in Dragons of Legend, the complete series. This wasn't the most open set either, and the ultra regular version versus the purple, blue, green ones, you can barely see the blue. It's so awful. It looks terrible on an Xyz. Ultra is the best color for Xyz in general. The Ultra is going for pretty much that reason, though. Lullaby of Obedience, also tier 0 Splite. Mirror match is going to happen. Do recall that Lullaby was changed to where you're not checking / verifying the opponent's deck for the cards, which will cause a lot of trust issues / potential cheaters in the situation of you calling a card, oh no, it's not in my deck. Do remember that happened with this card along the Mind Crush rulings, but the Secret and the Ultra is also getting bought out, and I assume that's to people thinking we might be entering a more closed format where the calls would be easier. Underworld Goddess, I noticed, was going up in the OCG also, and has a lot of playability. It is now near $30 plus because it's able to just slurp opponents' board, answer things that they put out there, and that's very good. But people are overspending on TCG Direct. Do be careful, scroll down, look through, don't just blindly buy when using that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. Starlight Charmers were already getting bought out. Now they're getting bought out even more. They went after Hita. Hita's way up. And USA. Remember, there is actually this huge rumor mill that there's a ton of stolen Starlights from iGas. And I have seen like crazy numbers suddenly move and crazy things happen with this. So it is interesting. Every time that this goes up, it seems to go down because there's an abundance of the iGas ones. But Velma over here is finally going up in price a bit. Everything but the Dark Charmer kind of staying stable over here. Everything else really spiking, and that's because he's the newest one. Also, no waifu tax. We've got Destiny Hero Dark Angel going way up in price, basically used to go to the opponent's field. Cards like that are very awkward to play around sometimes, so heroes have a ton of hype. If you have 3 or more Destiny Heroes in your graveyard, you can discard this card, target a Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard, so that would include this. Special summon it to your opponent's field in defense position. So, whatever you target, that could be this. When a spell, card, or effect activates, resolves, negate that effect, and if you do, or if it did not have an effect, destroy that card. So you put it on your opponent's field and they can't use a spell. That's pretty much the trick. During your standby phase, you can banish this card into a Destiny Hero monster from your graveyard. Your opponent probably doesn't have one of those. Each player chooses one normal spell card from their deck and places it on top of the deck. They'll probably link it away or do something with it. It doesn't like lock you to fusions or anything crazy like that, but it does basically say, oh yeah, start your turn without using your power spells. Blazing Mirror Force is up in price. Don't really know why, other than maybe Mirror Force collectors, but the secret rare is really getting up there. Painful Decision is due to Plant, Good Stuff, Sun Avalon. I really do also like the triangle format of ABC, Metal Foe, Frogs. We've already brought up Frogs here, but those three, that little triangle was really fun to play in, and I do think it could come back at some point, but maybe it's too modern. A lot of people mention Toss before they mention that one, the Eternal format. But yeah, the secret rare Painful Decision, if you were on that format and hollowing it out, it is going up. It has another secret rare in the mega packs also getting bought out. Pendulum Fusion, Pendulum Hype. Basically, this allows you to Pendulum Fusion from your fusion scales, if I recall. Fusion summon one fusion monster from your X deck using monsters you control as materials. If you have 2 cards in your pin zones, you can also use those cards as fusion materials. Correct. So this super rare from a while ago, Duelist Pack Dimensional Guardians, very infamous Duelist Pack. It is up in price due to only having that one printing, I'm pretty sure. Pendulum Fusion. Let's make sure of that. There's not a common sneaking around. Yep, only this card version of it in super rare. Ronin Toad and commons, even from the Ice Barrier structure deck, are re-spiking. They are now like $5 freaking, and that's kind of insane. And finally, Elemental Hero Absolute Zero, along with the Mayakashi sneaking in here around the same prices. Oh, you do have the super secret shiny box getting translated to the OCG finally for the holiday box. But Absolute Zero here is up in price for like all of its versions, and the ultra rare is just absolutely insane. Remember, there were a lot of printing errors with this where the magazine strip would even be all the way through, which now is considered cool by the young kids. But when we look through this, it is near $66 plus, and it's pretty crazy. Edison format / other formats, this guy's a beast, and people want a piece of their hero history, and it's also played a bit in the modern versions. You still can always mass change it into Acid and go for the back row full board wipe. A classic card that is way up there in price for this version, but every version is worth a good chunk of change. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much about numbers and came across clear. Gonna try to break it down real quick one more time. Yu-Gi-Oh! Price is up. Bad pull rates is bad with this. Konami needs to fix it. Hopefully that was very clear. And also quality control would be nice once you can double check on card stock and get a better supply of it. Please, Konami. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. And I've had a pretty good day today outside of this news.